What would you do if someone took what was yours, flaunted it in your face, and thought they'd get away with it? On a blistering July afternoon at Willow Creek Ranch, the shimmering lake reflected more than just the sunite mirrored the audacity of Karen Whitaker, a woman who believed she could take anything she wanted, including my jet ski. This wasn't just a machine. It was my pride, my escape, my tether to the open water. And Karen, with her smug grin and entitled swagger, thought she could rip it from me without consequence. She was wrong. The ranch was my sanctuary, a sprawling 200-acre retreat in upstate New York, where I'd spent every summer since I was a kid. My grandfather built the dock with his own hands, and the jet ski, a sleek, black Yamaha Wave Runner, was my reward for years of grinding through med school. It wasn't just a toy. It was freedom, a way to slice through the lake's glassy surface and forget the weight of the world. Everyone at the ranch knew it was mine. Everyone except Karen. Karen Whitaker arrived at the ranch a week ago, her designer sunglasses glinting as she stepped out of a rented convertible. She was the kind of person who demanded attention without earning it, loud, brash, and utterly convinced the world owed her. She'd rented the neighboring cabin for the summer, claiming she needed rustic inspiration for her influencer blog. But from day one, she treated the ranch like her personal playground. She'd blast music at midnight, leave trash on the trails, and act like the lake belonged to her. The other residents, quiet families, retirees, and a few artists, grumbled but stayed out of her way. I tried to do the same. Tried. It started with small things. Karen would borrow chairs from the communal dock, leave her empty wine bottles on my porch, and once, she even parked her kayak in my jet ski slip. I let it slide, chalking it up to her ignorance. But then came that morning, the one that changed everything. I woke to the sound of an engine roaring across the lake. My engine. I bolted to the window, heart pounding. And there she was, Karen, hair whipping in the wind, tearing across the water on my jet ski like she owned it. I grabbed my binoculars. She was laughing, doing donuts, spraying water in every direction. My blood boiled. The dock's lock was cut, the chain dangling like a broken promise. She hadn't just broken into my property to do it. I called the ranch manager, Tom, a grizzled man who'd seen it all. She says it's hers. He told me over the phone, his voice heavy with skepticism. Says she bought it last week. No proof, though. No proof. I snapped. It's got my name etched on the side. Tom sighed. She's got a crowd watching her now. Influencer types. They're eating it up. I hung up and paced the cabin, fury clawing at my chest. Karen wasn't just stealing. She was performing. She wanted the world to see her as the queen of the lake, and my jet ski was her prop. I could have called the sheriff, but that would take hours, and Karen would probably charm her way out of it. No, this needed to end now. That's when I remembered the remote kill switch. The jet ski had a high-tech feature I'd never used, a GPS-enabled system that let me shut it down or even trigger a slow leak in the hull from my phone. It was meant for emergencies, like if the jet ski drifted too far from shore. But as I watched Karen speed across the lake, her laughter echoing like a taunt, I knew this was an emergency of a different kind. I opened the app, my thumb hovering over the disable button. A small voice in my head whispered, "Is this too far?" But then I saw her do another reckless spin, nearly clipping a kayaker. She didn't care about anyone else. Why should I care about her? I pressed the button. The effect wasn't instant. The jet ski slowed gradually, its engine stuttering. Karen's laughter faltered. She stood up, confused, smacking the throttle like it was a disobedient pet. I switched to the hull leak option and confirmed. A tiny valve opened, letting water seep into the compartment. Not enough to sink it immediately, just enough to make her panic. She screamed. Even from my cabin, I could hear Ida, high-pitched wail that cut through the summer air. She was half a mile out, flailing as the jet ski tilted, taking on water. A crowd gathered on the shore, pointing and gasping. I should have felt triumph, but something else stirred in me, doubt, maybe, or guilt. I pushed it down and kept watching. That's when the twist came. A small boat appeared, slicing through the water toward Karen. It wasn't one of the ranch's rentals. It was a beat-up skiff I'd never seen before. At the helm was a man I vaguely recognized, Eli, a quiet groundskeeper who'd been at the ranch longer than I had. He was in his late 50s, wiry, with a face weathered by years of sun and solitude. Nobody paid much attention to Eli. He fixed fences, cleared trails, and kept to himself. But now he was speeding toward Karen, his expression unreadable. Eli reached her just as the jet ski began to sink. Karen was hysterical, clinging to the handlebars, her designer swimsuit soaked. He pulled her onto his boat, calm as ever, and started rowing back to shore. The crowd cheered, thinking it was a heroic rescue. But something about Eli's demeanor unsettled me. He wasn't smiling, wasn't basking in the attention. He looked disappointed. I met them at the dock, my anger now tangled with curiosity. Karen was a mess, mascara streaming down her face as she ranted about defective equipment and threatened to sue. Eli, meanwhile, tied up his boat and walked away without a word. I followed him. Eli, I called. Why'd you save her? He stopped, turning to face me. His eyes were sharp, like he saw right through me. Didn't save her for her sake, he said. Saved her for yours. I frowned. What's that supposed to mean? He stepped closer, lowering his voice. I saw you on your phone, kid. I know what you did. You think sinking that jet ski was justice? All you did was give her a story to spin. She'll milk this for months, the day I almost drowned. You handed her a spotlight. My stomach dropped. He was right. Karen was already on her phone, filming a tearful video for her followers, painting herself as the victim. I played right into her hands. But why do you care? I asked. You barely know me. Eli sighed, his gaze drifting to the lake. 30 years ago, I had a jet ski. Loved it like you love yours. Someone took it just like Karen did. I got even burned their boat to the ground. Felt good for a day. Then I spent years regretting it. Revenge doesn't fix what's broken. It just makes you smaller. His words hit like a punch. I thought I was taking back control, but all I'd done was lower myself to Karen's level. Worse, I'd destroyed the one thing that brought me joy. The jet ski was gone, sunk to the lake's muddy bottom. And for what? A fleeting moment of spite? Eli walked away, leaving me alone on the dock. Karen's voice carried from the shore, already spinning her tale of survival. The crowd ate it up just like Eli said they would. I could have told them the truth about her theft, about the lock she'd cut, but who would believe me now? She'd won not because she was right, but because she was louder. I sat on the dock, staring at the water where my jet ski had disappeared. The lake was calm again, its surface hiding the wreckage below. I thought about my grandfather, how he'd taught me to fish from this very spot, how he'd said the lake could teach you patience, forgiveness, even grace. I hadn't listened. I'd let anger steer me, and now I was left with nothing but the bitter taste of regret. Karen left the ranch the next day, her Instagram filled with dramatic posts about her near-death experience. The other residents moved on, the lake returned to its quiet rhythm, and I was left to salvage what I could. I never replaced the jet ski. Every time I looked at the dock, I saw Eli's weathered face, his words echoing. Revenge doesn't fix what's broken. Some lessons come too late. Some losses cut too deep. And some choices, no matter how justified they feel, leave you drowning in the wreckage of your own making. ND.